Welcome to another episode of Call to Purpose. I'm Amy Coppola, and I'm here with Tony Riley, the author of Bright Side of Broken and owner of Olive Grove Therapy. Today we're going to discuss health and fitness and how your mindset is affected by that. So, Tony?
Hello, Amy.
Hello. Would you like to tell us about Olive Grove Therapy?
I would love to talk about Olive Grove Therapy.
Okay.
I may have talked about this in a previous episode, but I did go back to school to become a massage therapist after my husband passed away, and went back to school, became a massage therapist, and then I was trying to figure out like where this business, because I wanted my own business. I wanted to help people. I didn't want to do spa massage. I didn't want to be like working in a spa.
Right.
I wanted to help people with functional movement, like being able to like move well, have greater mobility.
Right.
A lot of people have like range of motion issues,
Yeah.
and so I was like, well, I want to work on these people to get them moving better.
Right. And your
So-
personal training experience probably feeds
Yeah.
into
It does, because
Yeah.
corrective exercise was one of the things I was doing
Okay.
in my personal training.
Right.
So I was like, well, I want to do that and pair that with the massage therapy, and it was it was pretty cool to have that
Right.
those two put together.
Right. It's perfect how you did personal training, and I know that you ran how many marathons now? Full marathons? 21. It's a good number.
Yeah.
And then to move into massage therapy, it all kind of came together. I don't know if you started out with that plan, but you definitely moved into where you needed to be and found your purpose, I think.
Yes, absolutely. And helping athletes, young athletes, retired athletes, people that wanted to, had goals. Whatever those goals were, whether it was I want to run a 5K, or I want to run a marathon, or I want to do a triathlon, or I have a lot of baseball players who come in.
That's great.
Yeah, a lot of pitchers and
but arms and shoulders.
that range of motion
Yeah.
in the shoulders is critical
Right.
for a pitcher. So,
Yeah.
and at the time I was doing a lot of triathlons. I was running marathons. I was doing a lot of training. So with helping my clients, I was learning a lot about how the body responds to nutrition, massage therapy, training programs. Like there's all these things that go into corrective exercise. There's all these things that can complement with massage therapy, supplementation.
Right.
The list goes on as to how everything that you do comes together and helps you perform, be a better person,
Nice.
both physically and emotionally.
Right. One thing I love about our friendship is I know I can always come to you and ask about, how do I train for a half marathon? Because I'm never going to do a full marathon, but I've done some half marathons. So it's fun to come to you and have that friendship of how do I train for this, or if I feel like this, what should I take? And, you always have great advice
Well, thank
on
you.
the health and fitness front. Yes.
And if I don't know the answer, I know exactly where to send, where to get the information, how to help.
Right.
If I can't help, I'm going to send you to someone who can, if there is something out of my scope. So
Right.
My goal is to get to the root cause of whatever's going on,
Right.
help them be the best they can be
Yep.
in their physical and
Yeah. Have you ever seen stress or a situation in someone's life manifest in their physical body?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
There have been many cases where clients have either just lost a spouse, or they're going through a divorce, and they're having like numbness and tingling through their
Wow.
body, and they don't know what's going on, but that stress manifests physically.
Yeah.
So I work with them to help them not just physically, but kind of help them, connect the two, because there are connections to that, and help them, get on the right track with
Right.
emotional and the physical and the emotional healing
Yeah.
together.
Do you do a package for people? Do they just individually come? Have you had success in one session, or is it more like
Yeah.
6 sessions?
So
a
everybody-
lifetime?
Yeah, so everyone is different.
Yeah.
And different people want different things.
Okay.
I have some people that are like, hey, I've got this one thing, I just want you to fix it and I'm done.
Right.
I have other people who see me once a week.
Okay. So kind of a maintenance
or-
program.
There's, I have many clients who are like, I don't want to get injured, so I'm going to come in once a week to make sure that I don't.
That's smart.
And
Yeah.
and it's funny because some of them, are coming in every week like, okay, well, I got this one little thing going on after I did this.
Right.
Like, and these are the people coming in once a week.
Okay.
A lot of people come in once a month just for maintenance.
Okay.
Like, hey, I just want to have that self-care. Whether I'm hurting or not, I want to come in just to
Right.
get that.
Right.
And we also do lymphatic drainage massage, which is another aspect of helping the body process toxins.
Okay.
It helps with people who have had COVID. If they're like, I'm not sleeping well. There's so many things that are connected to the lymphatic system, and
Right.
how, some people are like, they just got over a cold or something, and if I do the lymphatic drainage massage, it'll just help get that, the lymphatic, like any congestion in there, just flushed out of the system.
That's good.
And it really helps
Yeah.
with a lot of different things, but
Nice.
definitely improves health. And,
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah. It's fascinating that you can manifest different issues within your body, right? Yeah.
It
And
is.
I know in one of our other episodes we talked about hormones and how that affects our body.
It does.
Yeah.
And some people have come into my office who are aching just all the time, and they don't understand why. And, after I work on them a couple times, I'm like, okay, you're not really doing anything that you shouldn't be doing. Something else is going on. And I can
Right.
usually typically tell after a few sessions
Yeah.
when it's something other than just muscular,
Right.
even though they're having muscular pain. So
Right.
many times it's coming from a hormonal imbalance. So that's where I'm like, okay, well, now I'm
Yeah.
going to send you to this person. I know they can help you with this.
Right.
And so we
And
have these connections that
I'm
we can.
fascinated by that because I wouldn't think that your body would ache if you have a hormone imbalance, right? You don't think of connecting the two.
Yeah.
So that really surprised me when you shared that. Yeah. It
Yeah.
explains some things. Yeah.
Yes, it's amazing. Adrenal glands are another important factor that your mainstream medical professionals may not catch, or they don't look at that.
Right.
And your adrenals are in charge of your sleep, your hormones. Like, they produce the hormones, help produce the hormones
Right.
that help you perform. So if you're in adrenal fatigue, there's some symptoms that go with that, and a lot of medical doctors will not recognize that or see that or know what that even is,
Right.
and they don't know what to do,
Okay.
and they just give you a pill.
Do you want to list some of those for us?
Symptoms of adrenal fatigue can be feeling like you're not getting enough sleep no matter what.
Okay.
Your sleep is disrupted during the night. You're waking up multiple times, and then you want to sleep. Then when the alarm goes off, you're just exhausted, and you want to
Groggy.
keep sleeping and sleeping.
Yeah.
Another symptom is craving carbohydrates,
Okay.
alcohol, sugar. You just can't perform physically as far as let's say you're a runner. You just have trouble having the energy to be able to run
Right.
any type of distance.
Right. And the thought of it probably just
Yeah, it's
exhausts
just-
you.
Yeah, exhausting, and you're just
Right.
tired, and
Yeah.
and that can actually go into your thyroid imbalance, and that it's a domino effect.
Yeah.
If one thing isn't working right, then all these other things will start to decline.
Gotcha.
So then people are wondering why they're, you know,
Right.
like just don't feel right. And some people don't even realize they don't feel well
Yeah.
until they start feeling better, and they're
Right.
like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I had no idea I was feeling so bad.
Yeah.
So,
That's
but
how I
once you-
was after I took that test and started taking supplements. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, my aches and pains are gone. Your body starts to function normally again. And,
Yeah.
you know, we can be aware of our surroundings, but sometimes it's hard to focus on ourselves and, you know, hey, do a check-in, right?
Yeah.
Do I feel good? How do I feel today? What's going on with my body?
Yeah. And there's
Yeah.
many factors into that. Your nutrition, your
Yeah.
you know, how much are you exercising?
Right.
What are you putting into your body? Are you drinking?
Environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of different things that
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
can affect it. So
Yeah. I don't think I can handle a stressful environment anymore because it just
Yes.
burnt me out. And,
Yep.
you know,
yeah.
yeah.
And
I think,
the quality of our air too can affect
right.
certain things. The
Yeah.
pollution,
Yeah.
there's a lot of different factors there too that we don't even think about.
Right. Yeah.
So if you're around somebody who, you know, some people work near chemical plants and they
Yeah.
don't know, or there's mold, or there's so many different things
Right.
that can affect your health.
Wow.
Yeah.
Could you give us some examples of maybe patients that you've had in the past and how you've resolved the issues and how things have manifested in their body?
Yes. So there are. I have a few examples. Some people will come in and they're having headaches, and they don't know why they're having headaches necessarily.
Right.
And so when I get in there, I realize that the trapezius muscle actually runs up and connects. The origin of the trapezius muscle is right behind your head. And so when I check, I'll see that so your traps actually start up here and they come down here and then they go into the back. And when I start from their head and I'm like, does that feel tight? Yes. Okay. And then I start moving down. I'm like, okay, these are your trapezius muscles.
Okay.
You may be shrugging without even consciously knowing that you're shrugging.
Right.
So I give them some exercises to do to help bring
Yeah.
those shoulder blades down,
Yeah.
and it helps relieve those headaches.
Yeah. Nice.
But typically in one session, they're like, my headache is gone.
Oh, that's great.
And then we have to like train them to not shrug. Because then, you know, they'll come back in. And some people, you know, it doesn't take one session and they're cured.
Right.
You know, some of these
Right.
people have been having issues for a long time. And
Right.
when these issues have been going on for such a long time, it doesn't just, it takes that long to get it to
Right.
go
It's
away.
almost like you have to retrain the muscles, right? To let go and
Yeah, retrain
And that
the
holds.
body to,
Right.
and the brain to have those muscles respond in a different way.
Right,
So
right.
we have techniques that we use that
Yeah.
will help them, you know, like let's say they had something going on for 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and they're like, oh, you know what, they come in and I'm like, okay, let's see you once a week, and then we'll go up to, you know, every 2 weeks once they start, because then your muscles start responding.
right.
And then they're like, oh, we're not supposed to be like this. We're supposed to be like this. And
Right.
then eventually, and everybody's different the way it responds, but eventually it'll
Yeah.
release and stop doing that.
Yep.
But it can take a little bit of time, but sometimes it doesn't
Yeah.
take too long. So
And with massage, I've noticed if I go in and I'm stressed out, my shoulders are up. And then they work on one side and this drops. And then you don't
Yep.
realize how high your shoulders are until they relax and things start to drop down. And
yes.
But through massage and de-stressing,
Yep.
right? I feel like my shoulders are back where they should be.
Yeah,
So,
that's good.
Yeah.
I have one in particular, for example. So your body is covered with fascia. Like all your muscles are covered with fascia. All your organs are covered with fascia.
Okay.
So there are actually fascial lines in your body that are
Okay.
connected. So
Interesting.
it is pretty fascinating. So I had someone come in who had a hysterectomy, and they were complaining about jaw pain. So I was working on their jaw. They had kept coming in, like my jaw, you know, it feels better after you work on it, but then the jaw pain returns after
Right.
a few days, and my jaw really hurts. I'm like, okay. And so I looked at the fascial line, and it turns out that there is a deep fascial line that runs like your adductors, which are in between your thighs, and it runs all the way up into your temples and your jaw.
Really?
And the top of your head. So she was having headaches and jaw pain, and she had this hysterectomy. And
Wow,
I'm
that's
telling
fascinating.
you, when I worked on her adductors, they were so tight.
Yeah.
And I was like, and she had no idea.
Wow.
But because of that, because of the hysterectomy, it was causing all these other issues in her body.
Wow.
So,
That's interesting.
yeah.
And when you say you worked on her muscle, right? Is it massage? I think you have a tool, right, that you use?
I do. Yes. So there is a technique called gua sha. It comes from Eastern medicine. It's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
But a lot of people haven't heard of it here in the Western culture. So
Yeah.
there's other names for it. But so it is a tool that I use that smooths that fascia out, which then releases and relaxes the muscles.
Nice.
So it's a game changer.
Yeah. Yeah. You've used it on me before, so that's why I learned about that tool when I worked with you. So
Yeah, and there's other modalities that I use. It just depends on what's going on
What
and
the
where I'm
issue
led
is.
to.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
led to which tool to use. So
nice.
yeah, there's lots of different things we can do to help with
Great.
that mobility.
Cool. Any other examples you want to share today?
Okay. Yes, I do have another example. I've had a client who had lost their spouse, and they were having tingling and numbness down their arm,
Wow.
and they thought they were having a heart attack, but they weren't. They had went and gotten EKG, and everything was fine, and so they
Wow.
came into my office, and after I was working on them, I realized that they were actually having some fibromyalgia symptoms, which fibromyalgia can actually stem from, most of the time, it's stemming from an emotional issue.
Really?
Yeah. So whether it's trauma, whether it's grief,
Wow.
yeah. So a lot of people, a lot of doctors don't know what to do with fibromyalgia.
Right.
So after I worked on her a few times, that numbness and tingling subsided, and we discussed. So a lot of people come in and they talk about their,
Right.
what they're struggling with emotionally,
Right.
and between the complementing with that and helping them process the emotions, we can
Right.
also help the physical ailment as well.
Yeah. I love how you bring the whole mind, body, spirit together. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's actually a lot of research done about how the body is physically connected to your emotions and your emotional health. There is a book called The Body Keeps the Score. And even if you've had something traumatic happen that you have blocked out, because there are some people who don't even realize they have emotional trauma because maybe they blocked something out.
Right.
Because it was too, like at the time, that was their way of coping,
Yeah.
was just block it out and forget about it.
Yeah.
But they're having these physical ailments that they don't understand what's happening.
Right.
So,
it's kind of an unconscious manifestation of your emotions in your body.
Yep, or subconscious or unconscious, yeah.
Right.
Where
Wow.
they're having these issues. And so we work with them and sometimes I'll refer them to a therapist who can help them process that. And we've discussed that about about EMDR and how that can be beneficial.
Yep.
So between the working on the physical part and then working on the emotional part, then you get that healing and
Yeah.
that connection of complete healing.
Okay.
I've had clients come in who are, so we have a corrective exercise that we do in my office,
Okay.
along with the massage. And sometimes I'll have clients, for example, who come in who, I'm running and my calves hurt.
Yeah.
And why are my calves hurting? And it's not necessarily their gaits or how they're running, but there are certain muscles that may not be firing properly.
Gotcha.
So there's connections of muscles as well. Like
Yeah.
if this muscle isn't doing its thing, then we're going to work on another muscle,
Yeah.
and we're going to get the proper muscles firing.
Yeah.
So for example, someone who has come in and said, okay, my low back hurts, my calves hurt, my
Right.
knees hurt, and I'll say, have you ever sprained your ankle? And they're like, oh, I'm sure I did, in high school. I
Yeah.
get this all the time. And I'm like, okay, well, let's see if your glutes are firing.
Oh my gosh.
And so I will do a little routine with them.
Yeah.
And like, okay, we're going to see if your glutes are firing. Sure enough, their glutes are not firing. I'm like, okay. And then I give
Wow.
them an exercise to do to get the glutes firing.
And spraining your ankle
Spraining your ankle.
can have that effect on your body.
Yep.
Okay.
So for some reason, if you sprain your ankle, sometimes the glutes can shut off.
Okay.
It's like a protective mechanism that your body does. We
Interesting.
don't know why exactly.
Yeah.
But the body will try to protect. It's the body's amazing, and
Yeah.
how just
Yeah.
physiologically how it works and what it does to continue, because it still wants to do the movement. Like
Right.
it's still going to run,
Right.
but we're going to fire this muscle and this muscle
Yeah.
because these aren't doing their thing. So we're just going to take over here and
Yeah.
here. And
Back here's protecting you.
Yep.
So everything else takes over.
Yep.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's great. You can balance people and any. So what corrective action would you do for your glutes not firing?
yeah, so there's some exercises that I'll initiate to get those glutes to fire, and I'll
Okay.
check to see if they're firing, and I can tell when it's
Okay.
like, okay, well, they're feeling it here, or they're not feeling it in the glutes. So
Right.
I'm like, okay, your glutes aren't firing.
Okay.
So I do a little like initiation and get the muscles to like quote unquote wake up.
Okay.
So yeah, come
good.
into my office and we'll we'll get your glutes firing.
We'll test your glutes.
We'll test your glutes, right? But that's a big one.
That's great.
That's a big one.
And I love you give people homework to take home with them to do
Yes.
different exercises to help them continue, right?
Yes, and get the proper muscles
Yeah.
going,
And then come back in and see you. You can
yeah.
check their progress.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is the one piece of advice that you would give listeners or, tip that they should follow? Like what is the first step or what is the most important step to you?
So the first step, if it has to do with feeling better, is do some type of exercise.
Okay.
And when I say that, I mean find something that you enjoy. What do
Okay.
you enjoy? Do you enjoy walking?
Biking.
And do you enjoy cycling? Do you enjoy swimming? Do you enjoy tennis? Find out whatever that is.
Something
Try
to get the
different
body
things.
moving,
Yes,
right?
just get your body moving.
Okay.
Because not everyone likes to run.
Right.
A lot of people hate to run. A lot of
Right.
people don't like certain things. So
Yeah.
do you like to lift heavy? Do something.
Yeah.
So that's a good first step
Right.
to getting healthy.
Okay. And in one of our, upcoming podcasts, we'll talk about routines and setting goals and everything. I do know that if I am active every day for 5 days, it just gets easier every day, right?
Yes.
But then when you stop,
It's harder
it's hard to
start.
get going again.
It
So,
is.
yeah, if you can make the commitment,
Yep.
even 10, 20 minutes, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Go walk around the building at work or
Yes.
go do something.
And that is something that I have hold on dearly to. I make sure that I
Yeah.
set that alarm at.
I know, I'm proud of you.
Thank
That
you.
Get up and
But it's important.
oh, dark.
Because it's self care. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's dark.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's important to have that self care, because if
Right.
you don't take care of yourself,
Yeah.
then you can't help other people and you can't
Yeah.
care for other people.
Yeah. It's a commitment.
It is.
Commitment
It is.
to yourself.
Yes.
Yes.
And you'll be happier for it. You'll be a more pleasant.
Right.
You'll feel a endorphin release, or
Yeah.
just more peace of mind when you're doing something that you enjoy.
Yep. Yep. Thank you for joining us today and sharing about Olive Grove Therapy.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. And that wraps our discussion for today. If you'd like to connect with us or are interested in meeting one of our life coaches, visit our website, yourcalltopurpose.com, and we will see you on the next episode. Thank you.